Yes, Corey CIA. Like, he didn't even have to say it. I know it. CIA.
Is Corey Gamble the hidden key in the dark mystery surrounding Diddy's notorious past and Kim Porter's untimely death? Corey Gamble is not your average guy. He's the ultimate Hollywood insider, linked to big names like Diddy, Beyonce, and even Prince Harry. But rumor has it Corey might be a handler, someone tasked with keeping celebs in line, possibly for government agencies. Well, he's been close to Diddy for years and was one of the first at scene when Diddy's ex Kim Porter passed away. There is chatter that Diddy had wired Kim's home with audio and video surveillance. Corey's taste in women often leans towards those older than him. For instance, Sherry was about a decade his senior, and fast forward to today, he's with Kris Jenner, who is 25 years older. In the mid to late 2000s, Corey moved to sunny California and started mingling with the Los Angeles crowd. He's not just hanging out, he's making serious power moves. His connection with Puff Diddy is especially tight, although how they first met remains a mystery. Some suggested it could have been through Farnsworth Bentley, Diddy's right-hand man who was at Morehouse College at the same time as Corey. Corey's almost like an uncle to Diddy's kids, stepping up during tough times, like when Kim Porter passed away. But there's a lighter side to Corey's life too. He's also buddies with Ludacris, Shaq, and Michael Jordan. Private jets and VIP parties, Corey's there, right in the middle of the action. Corey Gamble's connections are as star-studded as they come, starting with none other than the NBA legend Michael Jordan. Corey's Instagram is like a tribute to MJ, filled with pics of them courtside, soaking up the basketball greatness. Corey is tight enough to jet set on Jordan's private plane. Moving into the Hollywood circle, Corey's got ties to Ashton Kutcher, who's also friends with Puff Diddy. Through this connection, he met producer Rob Weiss, the genius behind Ashton's hit song Punk'd. These connections were crucial for Corey sliding into the Kardashian scene. But even before the Kardashians, Corey was making moves in the music industry. Around 2011, he budded up with Scooter Braun. This bromance not only spiked Corey's cred in the music biz, but also snagged him a co-manager role for Justin Bieber. But Corey also had a hand in Scotty McCreery's success. Remember when Scotty's album topped the Billboard charts? Corey was there, hinting he played a part in that success. And then there is Justin Bieber's album Believe, which soared to the top, thanks in part to Corey's behind-the-scene magic. Corey's life isn't all business. He knows how to live it up too. He's often seen flaunting pics on private jets that look suspiciously like those owned by Puff Diddy. Coincidence? Doubt it. With Corey's deep roots in the music scene and connections to Diddy, things are definitely clicking. Corey was also close to Kim Porter, Diddy's ex, who passed away under mysterious circumstances. Corey was right there at Kim's place when she passed, which suddenly makes you wonder about his connections and his past. Now, speaking of past connections, Diddy's relationship with Kim Porter was anything but smooth. They first met back in the 90s when Kim was working at Uptown Records with Andre Harrell. Kim and Diddy were together for over 2 decades, but it was far from a fairy tale. Sahara Lottie, a friend of Kim, didn't sugarcoat things on podcast where she described their relationship as toxic. She even went as far as to suggest that Kim's death could have been some sort of spiritual sacrifice for Diddy. Now that's a chilling thought. Sahara shared that Diddy had a tight grip on Kim, always pulling her back in whenever she tried to leave. It wasn't love, it was control. Every time Kim attempted to put distance between them, relentlessly blowing up her phone and keeping her on a short leash. And if Kim even thought about looking at another guy, Diddy would lose it. Kim was a devoted mom, trying to keep the family together despite the emotional and spiritual toll it was taking on her. It wasn't just about sticking together for the kids, it was about surviving Diddy's controlling ways. Kim Porter's story is a blend of love, mystery, and tragedy that's hard to ignore. Despite the darkness that clouded her relationship with Diddy, she was deeply in love with him. Her friend Sahara described Kim as Diddy's beacon of light in a world of darkness. But there is a twist. Sahara believed that Diddy was into some pretty dark stuff, like dabbling in sinister spiritual practices. Now let's talk about the eerie details leading up to Kim's sudden passing. Even though Diddy was seeing other women, Kim was still hanging around him. At Diddy's birthday bash, Kim was not herself. Sahara noticed a major shift in her energy, as if something dark had latched onto her. Then out of nowhere, Kim succumbed to pneumonia, leaving everyone shocked and puzzled. According to NBC News, Kim passed away in her sleep in November 2018 due to a lung infection that escalated quickly from a sore throat. Her health was like a roller coaster in those final days, with her temperature spiking to 1 or 2 degrees before dropping to 96. Despite efforts to help her, she was found unresponsive the next morning. The official word from the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner coroner was lobular pneumonia, marked as natural causes. But here's where things get fishy. The coroner who initially handled her case passed away just a few weeks into the investigation, and that same coroner had found some questionable substances in Kim's body during the autopsy. Despite those findings, when a new coroner took over, there was no further mention of those toxins. But let's not forget about Kim's strength. She wasn't one to take nonsense lying down. If Diddy ever crossed the line, she'd stand her ground. She was a devoted mother, and her main priority was her children. Switching gears to Corey Gamble, his friendship with Alex Schreider, a Russian-Canadian billionaire deeply involved in everything from real estate to murky financial dealings, including some dicey transactions with Donald Trump. Corey and Kris Jenner often step out for double dates with none other than Babyface and his wife Nicole. Babyface, a major player in the music industry, is also close with Diddy. Now get this, after Trump's 2016 election win, Corey and Kanye West jetted off to NYC to personally congratulate him. Yup, Corey's not just a casual acquaintance. He's in the thick of it with some of the biggest names in government and entertainment. With Diddy's legal issues bubbling up, speculation is rife about Corey's involvement. Kanye West has been vocal about his doubts concerning Corey, openly questioning his intentions and even calling him godless in a fiery Instagram post. Kanye's accusations don't stop there. He suggested Corey might even be a paid handler, possibly by the government. Bold claims indeed. Kanye's thoughts? Corey needed to never be here anyway. A nice person who used to be around Puff's family, then got around Justin Bieber, and then when Kris got divorced, he slid in. Sherry Buchanan, Corey's ex, shares a darker side of him. She describes their breakup as anything but amicable, detailing violent episodes that led her to seek legal protection against him. According to Sherry, Corey's charming public persona might just be a facade, and there is more. Sherry believes Corey is using Kris Jenner for social climbing, suggesting that he's more interested in the power and wealth associated with the Kardashians than in Kris herself. Now on to Sean Diddy Combs. Once celebrated as a music mogul and trendsetter, is now caught in a storm of shocking allegations. The headlines are hard to ignore. Federal agents raided his homes, and he faces multiple civil lawsuits. These accusations aren't just whispers. They span serious charges including immoral trafficking, forced abuse, and forced intimacy. Back in March, the scene at Diddy's properties in Los Angeles and Miami looked something straight out of a crime drama, with Homeland Security stepping in. Despite these grave accusations, Diddy denies everything. His lawyers are hitting back hard, labeling these claims as attempts at extortion. Surveillance footage from 2016 catches Diddy in a chase, cornering his then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura in a hotel hallway. It's more than just a lover's quarrel, it's an attack, prompting Diddy to issue a public apology admitting his actions were indefensible. But Cassie isn't alone in her fight. Rodney Lil Rod Jones steps forward with his own story, alleging that Diddy's influence forced him into uncomfortable encounters under the guise of networking. He claims to have evidence that could expose not just Diddy but a lot of others too. And then there is the New York Adult Survivors Act, a beacon of hope for many seeking justice. It opened a window for those whose voices were silenced by the statute of limitations, bringing old grievances into new light. Under this act, over 2,500 cases surged forward, with victims taking on powerful figures like Cosby and Weinstein, and yes, Diddy. Among those coming forward is Joy Dickerson Neal, who alleges a night in 1991 turned into a nightmare with Diddy. Her claim is a chilling echo of others, describing a pattern of abuse. So what do you think? Is there more to Kim's story than meets the eye? Could there be hidden truths waiting to be uncovered? With all the connections and secrets, this tale is anything but straightforward. Stay tuned for more updates, and don't forget to let us know your thoughts.